Hi guys, it's Shin. How have you been, guys, since the last video? The first episode of Loki just came out, so let's talk about this beautiful thing that I just watched. But before we start, I have to warn you there are some big spoilers ahead, so if you haven't watched yet, go watch before you watch the video, okay? So let's go! The episode starts by recalling the events of Avengers Endgame, which I thought was like really great because that's where everything went wrong in the movie too, remember? Because everything just starts to mess up there. And from there, Loki falls in Mongolia. I thought he would end up in a parallel reality, like in a multiverse, but he only ended up in a very long place. But I wasn't so wrong too, Why? Because he escaped where he shouldn't have escaped in Avengers 1. Because you remember that in Avengers 1 he just go back to Asgard with Thor instead of go to Mongolia, remember? So I wasn't so wrong in my mind, because he just created a new parallel universe, a multiverse. So because of that, he ended up becoming a variant. That is, he shouldn't exist, creating a new timeline. And then the TVA comes in with everything going after him to destroy this new timeline that was created because of the events that come in, because he just escaped where he shouldn't have escaped. And they put a collar in Loki that completely inhibits his powers. The cool thing that I found is that you can see that the TVA guys, the hunters that they call the policemen, the TVA policemen that they called hunters, they are really strong because they can fight on equal terms with Loki, and also their weapons and technologies are related to time. What caught my attention the most was the time twister. Every time Loki tried to escape, they pressed the little button and he came back in the same place as before. And it's only Loki that stays in this loop because he's the only one with the collar, And then he's the only one that comes back to time. Every time when he's in one place and he tries to run, he comes back to the place that he was before. That's what the time twister does. And this is really cool. I love it so much. And then there is a part where we meet the Mobius agent in a very cool scene that, by the way, looking like those CSI series that I really love, by the way. I really love CSI series. And then we go to the car. Oh my god, sorry. I don't know how to pronounce it. Then we go to the court where Loki will be judged by a judge who is there doing the work that should be done by the Time Guardians. There is a scene before that the Miss Minute appears explaining what TVA is about, and she talks about the Guardians and Nexus event. Remember in WandaVision the advertisements of the Nexus drug, and what does this have to do with it? What does this thing have to do? So Wanda herself is a Nexus being. The Darkhold itself says that she is a Nexus being. I think she's like a multiversal being, maybe, in this case. I think she exists in every type of multiverse. That's what I think, but this is just my opinion, so I don't know for sure. She also explained about the multiversal war, where several universes went to war to see who was the original or main universe, and for that the Guardians stepped in and made a single universe and created the TVA to make sure that was never another war like that. But as we already know from Loki's episode 1 and from the next Marvel movies, it didn't work out that much, So I think TVA will most likely appear in Doctor Strange 2, since the movie title is Multiverse of Madness. So we can see here that I don't think the TVA will work out that much. We will see, maybe in Loki, we can see that they will solve the problem that is being held right now. They will solve this problem, but I think because of Wanda and what will happen in the next Marvel movies, the problem will get bigger and bigger, and TVA will not contain that much, and then they will need help from Doctor Strange and maybe the Avengers. I don't know. Well, continuing, Loki ends up realizing that the Guardians may not exist. this is just my hypothesis again, and tries to use his powers to escape. But as I said before, with the collar, he has no way to use his powers. And he is sentenced to be reset, like he has to die. But the Mobius agent ends up saving him because he needs a little help with something. So, the Mobius therapy session with Loki begins with him showing some scenes from the movies of the Avengers to Loki. And one of them is the death of his mother, and it leaves him shaken up. Like when he sees his mother die, because this is Avenger 1. He's Loki from Avengers 1. So he didn't saw his mother die yet. He didn't see all the rest of the Avengers movie and the rest that all the other Loki already saw. So when he saw his mother die because of him, because he led the guys to her room and then she died, he really started to shaken up. He tries to run away, but the Time Twister prevents him, and when the agent helps him to get up, Loki steals the Time Twister mechanism from Mobius and to escape. And you can see that this scene is very easy if you pay attention. Like, you can see that he stole the mechanism if you pay very close attention to this scene, because it's actually you don't even need to pay that much of attention. You can just like watch very like okay, and then you can see that he will get the Mobius thing from him. And I even think that the Mobius did it on purpose, because like he's the biggest fan of Loki, as he says. And after Loki tried to escape, there were like 2 shocking scenes that made Loki develop for the character he became in Avengers Endgame. Like when he died and everything, when he's like he was already like a good guy and everything. And one of which must have been shocking not only for him, but for all the Marvel fans. That was seeing for the infinite, and this was like seeing the Infinity Stones being reduced to paperweights, like meaning the biggest and most powerful stones in the universe were simply nothing. Like nothing. Like you remembering like seeing all those characters from Avengers just dying for nothing, remembering everyone suffering in the hands of Thanos for nothing. Imagine just seeing that and like, oh my god, I was crying inside, like really crying. Yeah, like it was nothing, like nothing at all to the TVA, at least, you know. And the other key moment that made him finally get out of his own lie was when he goes back to the Mobius room and watches his mother die again, then his father, and then see him fighting alongside his brother, and finally see his own death. When he sees his death, he realized that his purpose was not for him, but for others. In the case, like being the Avengers. And in that way, he ended up like losing his mother and father and also his own life. He's nothing but doomed to be defeated. And when he sees that, he's just like, he's broken. He's broken down. He just like started laughing and everything just goes to the air and yeah, whatever. And after admitting and getting out of his mask, he agrees to help Agent Mobius hunt down the variant that has been killing several TVA hunters. And in this part, I won't lie, I was like kind of in shock, like Loki, because he was like kind of like pardon. Because when he asked who is the variant, Mobius goes and say, "It's you!"
The variant we're hunting is you.
And I'm like, my head just like exploded and went like boom. I just don't know. It's just like, what do you mean like it's you? It's another Loki. And I'm like, what the fuck? Oh my god. I'm just like, how? Just how? Like, he just, in this episode, he just said, no, it's just like a small fry. You're just like another small fry variant that we just need to take care of. And then he goes and say like, wow, this variant that is very difficult to catch. It's you! And we need you to take you, you know? Well, like the episode ends like with our heads exploding with a lot of information and a lot of unanswered questions, but it was a very good episode. It had some little effects here and there that weren't the best, but it was still like an exceptional episode, and I can't wait for the next episodes and see what Loki would come up with and how they will develop this other variant of Loki. That's what I want most, like see how they will develop this other variant of Loki, how they will do that, because we can see that this other variant of Loki, it's more dangerous, more dark, more serious than this Loki that we know. So this is what I want to know, and I think that's it for now, guys, and thank you guys for the video. I see you again next time. Thank you so much, and see ya.